Ho, ho, ho. Hi. Ooh, baby. Yeah. Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah.
Welcome, everybody, to the Renegade Run podcast. It's just me and DeMarco right now. We're holding it down until Baby A and Mama H.
Like my
get
podcast is.
That's
Just
exactly
the two of
what.
us.
Is this news?
I'm formally in. No, I'm just kidding. I don't have a
Oh.
podcast.
Oh, I thought what? Well, you talked about having a Push Square podcast.
That'd be a cool way to do it, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, shout out to. Hang on, let me get
Push
you
Square.
guys. I see Barry Donnellan, channel member, by the way. Thank you so
Start.
much, Barry.
Who's Push Start?
Push start. What did I say? Push square? I don't know what I said. Thank you, Barry
Push
Donnellan,
square.
for being here. Andrew
Square's
Cullinane,
real
BT Maverick, Daniel Luna, Moose One, Grey Monad, Nerds, and Other Legends. Thank you all so much for being here. And speaking of being a channel member, if you want to support the channel, you can become a channel member. Get you access to the Discord, early access to videos, and a little kiss on the forehead that I'll send you in the mail, and all that kind of fun stuff. But sincerely and seriously, thank you all so much for the support, and shout out to all the channel members. I need to get a list of that. I need to figure out how to do that because I don't think it's true what it's telling me. But anyway, yeah. So right now, yes, Ass will be here and Holly will also be here shortly. They're taking a train. One's taking a plane, one's taking a train. So yeah, you just had to guess which one that is, but they'll be here soon. But in the meantime, DeMarco, how you been? Man, you feeling better?
Hi.
You were sick, and
Oh no,
all
I'm
that
still
fun
super
stuff?
sick. So if you see me making weird faces like gulping a lot, it's
okay.
because it's painful to swallow right now.
gotcha.
All of
Gotcha.
those wonderful things. No, I'm still horrendously sick, but I'm not
Well-
so sick that I can't hang out with the
I
Renegade Run
appreciate
crew.
you. Yes,
Um,
thank you. Yeah, what you been into, man? Other than being sick and
So-
dying.
Other than dying, mentally, socially, physically, Call of Duty has honestly been fantastic.
Yeah,
Absolutely fantastic. I will say Black Ops 6, I was excited for it, and in every way, in most ways, it has thoroughly pleased me. I'm not going to say surprised, because at the end of the day, it's Call of Duty, and you do know exactly what you get when you start playing Call of Duty. So, I'm not surprised, but I am pleasantly
Pleasantly
enjoying
pleased.
the time. We've been doing some zombies. It's really
Yes.
quite fun. I love the zombies mode. I'm a sucker for zombies.
Mhm.
Although as we've talked about, I wish that they would just have a release of the classic maps with the classic style, where there's no gobblegums, where there's no absurd armor that you have to pick. I'm absurd. I'm waving my arms and I can't think of words.
I know what you mean.
Because I'm sick. I'll blame everything I get wrong
exactly.
on that. There's no armored zombies. There's no weapon rarity levels. There's no gobble gum. There's none of that stuff. There's no augments that you bring in. Just the plain vanilla style classic maps. You go, you turn on the power, you survive as long as you can. You ideally bring back some of the ones with the cool music Easter eggs, like on the Alcatraz map for, I think it was Black Ops 2. You could get the Johnny Cash song Rusty Cage to play if you did that Easter egg. I think you could get a Pink song on Kino der Toten. So I would love for them to bring that back. But the multiplayer is also fun. It's sadly absent of a lot of modes I would like to see. Like gun game, where every kill you get, you progress to the next weapon, and then it's a free-for-all.
Yeah.
But there are some really standouts. I don't know if Control is a new mode because I haven't played Call of Duty since
No, it's been there for
Advanced
a bit.
Warfare. That was okay. The last one I played was Advanced Warfare with your little jetpacks that everyone didn't like. I think it was Advanced Warfare.
Yeah. And Infinite Warfare
but
I think had jetpacky things too. Yeah.
Had jetpacky things too.
Yeah.
So I've really been enjoying the multiplayer. I wish Gun Game would be there. I like Control a lot. It's one of my favorites. I really would like to see them try to push a little bit further. However, you know, one mode that I really like in games is sort of where both teams are trying to capture the same point, and then you push it back and forth to the other team's like end zone. Basically, you gotta keep capturing points.
Was that
the other
Warzone?
team tries to push like that tug of war.
Or no, ground war. Isn't that what that was? I'm pretty sure that's what Ground War was. That was back in World War II or World at War. Well, speaking of modes, they've begun ramping up the modes. They're adding an infected mode, which has been, people know that from Halo. Then they brought it into Modern Warfare. The new Modern Warfares, along with Nuketown, will be coming next week. Both of those, so that's good. So hopefully we'll start to see those kind of modes, because I do agree I would like to see some more variety. There's
been some cool things too, like somebody found the classic map from World at War, Courtyard, outside the bounds of one of the maps.
Oh, okay.
It's there. It's modeled in low resolution. It's in low detail, but it is rendered there outside one of the maps from World at War. So I think at some point it was said that they want to bring back some classic maps, so that would be really cool to see. Yeah. Especially because World at War is my favorite Call of Duty, so anything they want to pull from that, great, do it,
dude. And I'm only on the 3rd mission in the campaign, and I am loving it. It is so good. It already so far is like my favorite campaign, right there with Infinite and Cold War. Because Cold War, I loved Cold War, and specifically I love what they do in Infinite and in Cold War and in this, is that they give you sort of like a you have like a little base, so in between missions you're just sort of chilling, and in this you actually, it's sort of like mini RPG elements, little, you can spend money that you gather in missions to then upgrade your character in different ways. And I just love I love any sort of sense of progression. I just love, because it sort of breaks the pace, makes things feel a little more varied. And it's so good. It's so good. And I love the main character so far. He is brutal. Like, whenever you do takedowns, you're like, oh my God, what am I? Like, he is so efficient at killing. It is insane. And then there's some dialogue where the guy's like, I read your file, so CIA assassination is what you were trained in. And I'm like, that makes sense. Okay, that makes sense. So I'm just loving.
I would love to see a Call of Duty where they just bring it balls to the wall, doing Doom Slayer style execution. Yeah. It would never happen, but
there's one like where you come up behind somebody and you like grab him by the hair and like pull his head back and just knife him right into the eye. And I'm like, what are we playing? Yeah. What are we playing right now? Anyway, I'm loving it so far because its pace is. I know some people were like, I can't believe, even like David Jaffe and some other people were saying, like, when I play Call of Duty, what's what I love? Stealth, and more stealth. And I'm like, they've been doing this for a very long time though with Call of Duty, and I think it's really refreshing because there is still plenty of action. But the set pieces are great. I just love. It's like I forget that I'm playing Call of Duty when I'm playing this campaign. Because it's doing a lot of this, like talking to people. You have dialogue options.
That's a really weird way to praise it.
How? What did I say?
I love this game. It feels nothing like the game that it is.
Well, no, you like forget, like, wait, this is Call of Duty that I'm playing. It is so. It's chat. You guys know what I'm talking. If you guys have played the campaign, you know what I mean. It's because like you have like choices to make on like how to approach missions, and there's actual dialogue to choose when you're talking. It's there's so much to it. I'm in love with it so far. But yeah, I've been playing that, and got Life is Strange. Haven't started it yet. Really excited for that, which I know that's just like a cult classic or cult following that franchise. So I know it's not for everyone, but yeah. So I'm really excited to get into that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's a good time to be gaming. A lot of games coming out, and Thursday a certain game is coming out called Dragon Age Veilguard. And it seems that the majority of people
A
little controversial. Game Seeker, Yodani, what's up? OG Frost, hello. Thank you. Umbra, what's up, man? Arcane is here. Thank you guys so much for showing up, hanging out with us. We're about to start talking about Dragon Age. If you guys are ready for that, we're going to try to talk about Dragon Age very carefully and respectfully before Holly and Assassin get here, because they have no interest in talking about it, and that's why this will be their last appearance on the show. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so first thing, Dragon Age Veilguard, like it or not, it is getting very good. It's getting very high praise. Okay, now the criticisms, when there are fair criticisms that I've seen, like the stuff that we've seen all along, things like the art style, things like the Canary, which I will never get over the Canary look. There's no excuse for it. It's absolutely ridiculous. I am a massive BioWare fan, but I am not going to forgive and ignore those kinds of things. It's just, that is such a crazy oversight. It's not even an oversight. It's just plain ignorance. I hate when people take liberties with IPs that are so established and they're like, we're just going to do whatever you want. People won't care. And then whenever people care and they get upset about it, they're like, you're just being negative. And
you
it's
just
like,
don't like innovation.
You just don't. Yeah, it's like, shut the hell up, man. But like I said, there are fair criticisms. And the controversies they're pretty, I would say they're also fair. So there is some DEI stuff that is in Dragon Age. And guys, this channel, this show, everything, this is a safe space. Okay, so we're just, don't sit down, sit back down, take a deep breath. So if there's a lot of diversity and stuff like that. Now, I don't feel that it has any place in an RPG other than like a character creator as far as representation. I've talked about this a lot. Okay, Cyberpunk had this. Whenever you create your character in Cyberpunk, you can slap a wiener on your woman and you can change her voice to sound like a man or flip it around, do whatever you want to do with it. Nowhere does it say anything about whatever words that you want to use, non-binary or whatever. But as a player, you choose to play that role, and it's great for those people. I'm talking everything that we've seen in Dragon Age, the scars, the surgery scars, all that kind of stuff. And of course, it fits in the world of Cyberpunk. And I feel like that is where a lot of people are really taken aback by this. I love how chat just completely stopped moving whenever we started talking about this. In a game where it's medieval fantasy, I would say it is very jarring whenever you hear terms that are really just set in modern day social politics, like we see. So when someone says that they identify as non-binary and they're a Kunari that stands at 6'8" and they have horns coming out of their head. Look, and again, I think it's great for if you are someone in chat, if you're someone who identifies as whatever you want to identify, I think that's wonderful, and God bless you for who you are and how you want to approach this topic and whatever. But I will say that you have to be very yes. Lotus Esprit is one of them. Yes, and thank you for being here, Lotus. We missed you. It says they them exactly. And I think that whenever it comes to like medieval fantasy, I think that it's jarring for like a lot of people. Because it is like a very new thing. A lot of people are coming out and they want to identify as like Lotus says, they, them, him, whatever you want, and that's completely fine. So what I'll say about it is, and this is my hope, because I'm a dude. I identify as a male. I'm straight, whatever. Whenever I see these kinds of things in any video game, by the way. Doesn't matter. Doesn't have anything to do with the fantasy setting or anything like that. It never bothers me as long as the characters are written great and because Dragon Age 2 is an example. I made a whole video about how Dragon Age has been diverse and inclusive for a very long time. There are gay characters in Dragon Age. There's actually a specific character who's this badass. It's Fenris. He's got the white hair. He's got the long sword. And he talks like this the whole time. And you find out that he's gay, and he talks about it in a very passive way. But by that point that you find out that he's a gay dude, you don't care, because he is a great written character. He is like he becomes like one of your favorite characters, and you're like, whatever. So I said all that to say, I hope that whatever happens with Dragon Age, that it is that exact feeling, that it's in passing. Here's a character that this is how they identify, like they, them, him, her, whatever. And then it's gone, because I do think that it is important for people to feel represented, especially whenever you're playing an RPG, and that's fine. But I think the forced aspect of it is where I would have concern. So I would say, at the very least, I would hope that it is just like all the other Dragon Age games, where it's very passive and it's very natural. Like, I don't go around talking about how straight I am and how I'm a male and make sure to call me a him whenever, that kind of stuff. But that's real life, and this is entertainment. And so you have to really, and guys, I'm trying to be as respectful as I can, so I don't want anyone to feel, yes, Fenris and Zevran. Thank you, Sailor Mercury. Exactly. So I will just say that I hope that it's written well and that it's tasteful and it's not, yeah, I guess that's the best way to say it. I don't know. What are your thoughts on it? And Lotus, thank you so much. I just saw thank you so much for the $50 super chat. I really, really appreciate you. Welcome back, Lotus. Lotus has been flying probably for like a whole week straight or something. But thank you so much, Lotus. That is so generous of you. I really appreciate you. Go ahead, DeMarco.
Yeah, I had my sip of tea before getting into this. So you've said everything really well, right? As respectfully as possible. It's the time when these the complaints that I've seen regarding, I'm not even going to start with like the DEI stuff, but the complaints that I have seen against Dragon Age, the Veilguard, in regards to writing, have been that it just sort of wears that there's no subtlety to it, and it lost some of the nuance that a lot of modern writing has. This isn't unique to the Veilguard, and this is coming from someone who hasn't played it, right? So if I did, I might have different opinions. My own opinions might be different. And of course, I'm only speaking to, this needs to be very clear, I'm only speaking to the people who had criticisms, which at the moment mainly is, from what I've seen, Skill Up and Mr. Matty Plays were the two that were very vocal that they were not fans of the game. I'm sure there's others out there, but those were the two that you'll constantly see people most likely quoting from. And respect to the two of them for the fact that their opinion carries this much weight. Honestly, it's kind of incredible that it's, the foundation towards sort of a larger disruption within, the perception of the game. But a lot of these things were going to come out anyway, so I digress on that. What I will say is that a lot of nuance and subtlety in writing has been lost, and the messages are now sort of, I call it just it's just like they're putting it not on just like a regular hammer, but on like a Looney Tunes sized mallet, and saying, look at this. And again, I'm not speaking strictly to the DEI stuff, like, at all. Mm-hmm. I'm just speaking to the messages any message that a game wants to have. In the case of like Veilguard, again, I don't know if this is true, but you know, it might be like, this is a bad thing. Look how bad this is. And then your character doesn't have the opportunity to go, well, actually, I don't think that's so bad because it's a role-playing game. Your character only has the option to go, that's right, that is pretty bad. Instead of allowing, and there's examples that I'm sure some of you guys can think of, whether it's in TV, film, or games, where it's not subtle enough to allow the individuals to think about it, to really break it down and to digest it and to think critically on what they're being presented with, because there is subtlety in the messaging, and it does allow for disagreement, and it does allow for engaging conversation around it, and it does open a more educated conversation than just simply allowing for, let's call a spade, bigotry to run rampant and just opinions to fly wild, because it's you know, sort of, and I hate to say it this way, but appealing to the lowest common denominator. And it's appealing to the lowest common denominator because it doesn't have nuance for people to think more critically about it. So, and again, I want to emphasize that's not speaking strictly to any of the DEI stuff. That's just some of the things I've heard about the writing for some of the storylines in the game. Now, strictly to that, I fully want to see representation in games to a level that makes sense. And I think I can only echo your statements, Red, where I say that the character needs to make sense first, right? And also, I don't think it's such a bad thing if stuff starts out controversial. Because I think about Ashley in Mass Effect 1, who was quite literally just a space, like, racist.
Straight up racist.
Like, she hated aliens. She was just straight up, she just hated it. She was a complete xenophobe. And so, you see by the end of Mass Effect, and it takes multiple games, but by the end of Mass Effect 3, that's some tangible character growth that she goes on. Like, that's her character journey. So I don't think it's such a bad thing to have controversial subjects in games, as long as there's a payoff to it, right? And as long as there's sort of a journey that these characters can go on. But they can't be identified by a single thing. You can't just sort of... There's a South Park episode, I don't remember which one, where I think it's where they're trying to find out how the Simpsons comes up with ideas, and it's like two, like a giant like gumball machine, or like two whales or something.
Simpsons did it! Simpsons did it!
Yeah, it just like spits out a ball that has like an idea. Like, you can't just take like a gumball machine and like twist it, and then it comes out, and this one says the character is quirky, and this one says he's a bit sadistic, and you mash that together, and it's like, there's our whole character! Like, no, that's not what a good character is. People are nuanced. People have, and people not only are people nuanced, but humans are contradictory. We are massively contradictory all the time, and hypocritical. And so, like, all of these elements play into a good character. So when you sort of narrow down, and I identify as a white straight male, so for me to, maybe I'm stepping out of place in saying this, but I think even for a story, if you want to tell a strong story that involves someone who is transgender, or someone who might be asexual, or someone who might have any of these different things that they might identify as, that there's better ways to do it. Like you mentioned, I mean, I think of Dorian, right? Dorian, his character conflict comes because he was ousted from Tevinter because he was a homosexual.
Exactly.
And
you don't even know that until way later on. And like, again, by that point, you're convinced. You're like, this is a great character. I'm invested.
Outside of that, like, that is a defining thing for him because it's personal, and it caused familial problems, right? Because there's that, you know, he has a whole like theme, and I think that's his. I'm not sure if that's his entire sort of companion quest,
with his father,
but that's a big part of it. So he has a whole character that's built outside. Like, his personality trait is not I'm gay.
Right.
And I think that leads to tell a stronger story that better represents people who identify with those communities. And again, maybe I'm stepping out of line as someone who doesn't identify in one of those communities, but I think the character should come first. and that can absolutely be a part of their character, and I encourage it to be a part of their character, but in a way that doesn't seem like that's all their character is.
Right. And Lotus, good timing. Lotus says, it is nice to be represented no matter who you are. When you are a minority group, it makes it feel even more special, though. Yeah, exactly. And Lotus, I appreciate you hanging around and just being, you understand. I mean, I feel like you guys in chat have been around us long enough to know we don't talk about this kind of stuff because we're like the hippie podcast. We love everyone, and we want everyone to be happy. We want this to be a safe space. And we want everyone to feel like, that we can be open and have a conversation, because we're not, you're never going to see me make a video about, like what happened with Maddie. Like, everyone wants to make a video about him. That's not what it's all about. We're not going to rip on other people, or even have a... anyway, I'll just say yes to Lotus's point. I think it's great. And that's why I think that it's good to have options. I think that that's great. And as long as those characters are represented respectfully, and it's not like forcing anything upon people like us, like, forcing straightness on to gay people or whatever, it might feel really jarring,
And it, like, I keep seeing pop up that people are saying there's an option where you as, Rook, the main character, can say I am transgender, and then it says like this will open up unique dialogue options if you choose this. And a lot of people are trying to call that out and say how this is terrible, like this is really bad, we can't, this is awful. But it's not as though the game is saying you have to, like, this is a choice. Rook is now associated, this is how they identify. You have that option. So it just don't choose that option.
Don't choose that option.
Play the RPG your way.
Exactly. And that's exactly what I said at the very beginning of this whole thing. I hope that the things... This is such a weird comparison. Bethesda games, wasn't it Spider-Man 2 or Spider-Man PC port or something, where all of a sudden on Twitter, everyone is posting clips and pictures and things that they're upset about, and then you think that that's the entire game. You think that Bethesda is nothing but bugs. You think that the Spider-Man PC port is nothing but bugs, and you're like, I'm not even gonna buy it because it looks like that's the entire game, and it's not. These are very very particular moments in the game that happen every now and then. And Jesse from Xbox Era, they did their headline show today, and he was saying that stuff, he touched on it very briefly, and he was like, all I'm gonna say is that stuff is practically non-existent, other than the very poignant, like on the nose quest that is very specifically about a non-binary Kunari. He's like, aside from that, it is just there to, like a check mark or whatever. So right, that is that is the best case scenario. Yeah, so I'm hoping that it is cherry picking. And again, I just wanted to talk about it because I have to give my opinion on it. I don't want to have to make a whole video about defending why I like something or even making excuses for why something should be the other way, because I think that kind of stuff is important, but I also do not want to feel like I'm forced to like something that I'm not part of, or like try to be part of a community that I don't understand. I'm not part of that, so I can't speak on it. That's why I feel uncomfortable talking about it now, because I'm not part of that. I can only express how I feel for who I am, and I think we should be able to feel comfortable with talking as individuals and talk with each other. No matter what kind of community that you want to be a part of. Yeah.
It's important to have the conversations, because I think the worst thing that can happen is I know that there's a growing distrust for like legacy media outlets, and reasonably so in some instances. But I think it's an important conversation to keep open, because if some of this does get written off as it's the best game ever, like 10 out of 10, because it includes these stories, when the reality is it's not portrayed. And I'm not saying Dragon Age the Veilguard is doing this, I'm just speaking on a very broad sense. But if it's not actually doing justice to the communities that it's trying to represent, but a lot of these whether it's creators or legacy news outlets are praising it because they don't identify with those groups, but they're too afraid to address it otherwise. So they say it's 10 out of 10, it's 9 out of 10. I think that could be equally dangerous. And, feel free, obviously, to anyone who might be in chat who feels differently to disagree. That's totally fine. And please educate me if I'm wrong, right? But
Yeah, there are some people.
specifically, like Lotus would be
Yeah,
the
and
one to
I
sort
would
of
say, yeah, honestly, if anyone other than Lotus, if you are in that community of people that do really strive and crave representation, tell me. Let us know in the chat. I really want to hear. And yeah, especially Lotus. Lotus, thank you so much. Lotus says you always be part of our community because you're special. Thank you so much. And likewise, Lotus, thank you so much. This is a safe space. Let me see. Let me scroll up a little bit. There was Palpatine says, I understand the pushback on the top scars, but come on, it's not a big deal if it lets someone be more immersed and lets them feel welcome, it's fine by me. Exactly. Sailor Mercury says, I'm indifferent on it, but I hope that the devs don't prioritize this ahead of story or character. And that's exactly what we're saying. If they want to show those characters, let those characters be main characters, let them be great characters first, and then let them have their backstory. And again, BioWare isn't the same BioWare that we knew years and years ago, but I would hope that they at least can look to the pedigree that they had in the past and at least try to match that with great characters, and then also be homosexual or whatever preference or whatever it is that they want to be part of, that comes naturally to their character, rather than that just being the one identifying factor as a character. Like you said, DeMarco, like that shouldn't come first. I shouldn't have to come up to you and tell you that I'm a white straight man and be sure to call me a him. I would like for you to just find that out naturally. I'm a great character. I'm Red Wolf. But yeah, Sailor Mercury says, I just hope Veilguard is fun to play regardless of the nonsense surrounding it. Exactly. Whatever, however you want to word it. Jonas, thank you, bro, for being here. Anya Donnie, I can't remember if I shouted you out. I'm sorry. Jonas says, and that just comes back to it being about bad writing in most cases. No one really cares if a character is insert whatever identity group. Most people just don't like it when the characters are written poorly and it feels like it simply exists for representation for its own sake. You could not have said that better. That's exactly right. Yeah. Whenever it stands out to you where you're, and I feel like that can come off as way more disrespectful to those kind of people when it is just shoved in there, and then you go, here you go, here's your non-binary character. There you go. You happy? Is everyone happy now? There you go. All right, buy our game. If it is done well and tasteful, I think that's really what's most important. Anyway, do you have any other thoughts on that, DeMarco? I think we did pretty good.
I think there's some pretty good coverage.
Yeah.
Pretty good coverage. Lots of games are getting coverage though. Lots of games, including Indiana Jones has gotten a lot of coverage today.
Yeah. And
lots of positive news coming from Indiana Jones.
And you know who loves Indiana Jones?
Not Concord, says Yodani.
Not Concord, yeah. Holly loves Harrison Ford, especially from the last Indiana Jones movie. He just ages like fine cheese. He is,
especially when it's Troy Baker voicing it.
I know, he's nailing it. Holly, thank you. How was your train ride? Was it a train or a plane? What was going on?
No, I had to go to the doctor, and then on the way back, I stopped to vote, and the lines are very long.
Oh, that sucks.
And I didn't want to leave line because I was worried that it would be way worse another time. So, sorry. Gotcha. I was voting. I was doing my duty.
Good job.
No, you're good.
Doing your civic duty.
Love your hair, by the way. You got a very
right.
80s look going on. It's like, I don't know why. It reminds me.
Natural.
Is it really? That's good for you. Look at you go. I woke up like this. Anyway, so Holly, what you been playing and how are you?
I've been playing zombies with you hosers.
That's true.
I've been playing Call of Duty, and on top of that, a little extra Call of Duty, and maybe some side of Call of Duty, and a teeny little bit of the Lake House. So that's what I've been playing.
Great. Oh, Colt's here. What's up, bro?
That's
Sorry, I didn't. I don't know if he said hello earlier, but what's up, Colt? Thank you, brother. I talked to him right before I got on the show, and he was like on his way to get his dog a shot for his shoulder, and I was like, get an extra one for me. My shoulder is messed up too. Anyway, yeah, Call of Duty. Holly, have you started the campaign for Black Ops 6?
There's a campaign.
I have not.
Oh my god.
I have not yet. No. I want to finish the Lake House before I start that, because when I start that, I just want it to be that. Right.
I get it.
Because I hear amazing things from all types of people. So
it's so good. Oh, man. It's so good. I was telling DeMarco before the show, I forget sometimes that I am playing. I'm like, I forget that this is Call of Duty, because they're doing things like they sort of did in Cold War. A lot of espionage, a lot of spy stuff. And so you have these lulls in between that when combat starts, it feels good and fresh every time, because it's not just the shooty all the time. It's really great. That's all I'll say about it. It's really, really great. I'm only on the third mission. Most Wanted is the one that I'm on. So I haven't got to the one everyone talks about, which I think is the fourth mission. But yeah, BT Maverick says the Lake House was good. I just didn't like all the reading or for computer passwords. Yeah, and that's the thing. And that a lot of that. One thing Alan Wake does.
There's
really
a
well,
lot.
Yeah, the one thing that it does really well
House,
sometimes is that it reads it for you in the voice of the can't think of the guy's
Character?
name. Yes, the main voice actor. I can't think of the actual.
Well,
Alan
it's a
Wake or
different
whatever.
character in the Lake House is a different character altogether.
Okay.
At least
a lot.
as much as I've played so far.
Yeah. That
Different
old
enemies
sleeping
too.
injury. Oh, Palpatine's asking about my neck. Yeah, so I'm right now I'm turned to my right. So it's whenever I turn to my left that it hurts, and it's pretty much healed. It still hurts when I go like that, but it's not debilitating like it was. Neck stuff. I was talking to Holly last week, and it's like you don't realize how much you use something on your body until it's hurt, and then it's like you're just doing nothing, and you're like, ow. It's like I didn't even realize I used that muscle when I move my leg. My neck hurts for some reason. Anyway, yeah, thank you for asking. I appreciate you. Thank you all so much for being here. There is like 40 of you, I think. Yeah, thank you so much. If you're new here, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and all that. We're live every single Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard and 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Yeah, and channel memberships are live and all that. If you want to support the channel, that'd be great. And anyway, okay, Indiana Jones. You want to talk about that, DeMarco?
Oh yes, I'm so excited for Indiana Jones.
Yeah, it actually got me excited too when I saw the previews.
So previews came out today. A number of people were brought out, and it was really cool to see because there were a couple, not a lot, but there were a couple smaller channels too, like under 5,000 subscribers, creators that were shown to get previews as well, which I love. I love to see that, right? And Bethesda, I will say, has always been pretty good about keeping open lines of communicate, even if maybe at the time they're not ready to sort of put you on those media lists. You sort of know with Bethesda that they're like keeping an eye on you or your channel, which is pretty cool. But it was nice to see that kind of situation as well with smaller creators. But the previews have been out, and there's some really interesting things, both good and bad, that have been said about it. So I've watched about a dozen previews so far, just because I wanted to consume every single bit I could about it to see what everybody was saying, to get the best, most wellest informed opinions that I possibly could, as my little pea-sized brain could handle. And some people, I will say, there was two in particular, both of which were kind of funny, who said, not Paris, but who said they had little interest in going back to Indiana Jones and the Great Circle after playing the game, because there were certain elements that did not appeal to them. Primarily, the way that the game is structured and the open world elements that are present. So, Indiana Jones is primarily an adventure game. What that means is it's much slower paced. Coming from Machine Games, it's probably a bit strange because, I mean, Wolfenstein, you're running around, guns blazing, dual wielding missile launchers, and just going absolutely wild. Indiana Jones, you're going slow, you're methodical, it's much more systematic, and you have to be much more intentional in your approach, which I think is very interesting that this game is coming out around the same time as Stalker, which that's a lot of highlights of that game. But I digress. Obviously that's not planned, but I just think it's interesting. So you have to be a lot more methodical in your approach, and that for a lot of people is a bit of a turnoff because they want to be able to run in and fire and have more of that action adventure, and a lot of gamers might be looking for sort of the Uncharted version of Indiana Jones, and that's not what players are getting here. So some people were a bit taken aback by that. There was a lot of praise given for the world itself, Harrison Ford's performance, because Troy Baker was basically, and this is how Paris described it, Troy Baker is Harrison Ford. He is, his performance is so unbelievable. And there's moments even in some of the trailers that we've seen where you could hear some of that Troy Baker sort of popping through, like sprouting out like a bit of a weed. And you can kind of hear, oh, that is Troy Baker. Like there's those moments, but they're presumably far and few between. And if you listen to the audio, he does a phenomenal job. And that's backed by some very fantastic motion capture. So the demo took place over kind of multiple segments. I will say one of the big criticisms and some of the problems that I saw when people were critical of the game seemed to stem because the demo, one, it was only about 90 minutes for most people, so an hour and a half of playtime. And two, it went between 3 segments and it jumped a lot. So you did sort of one of the opening moments of the game, you got some fundamentals, you saw, you know, how the controls work and got a feel for it. Then you jumped pretty far ahead. Presumably within that time, some game mechanics would have been explained to you. For example, medicine is used as currency. So some of the people who were playing the game were trying to do things. They had no idea what was going on, and one of the developers that was there sort of watching had to come in and explain that. And that to me, you know, that was frustrating for some of the people playing. But that to me is something that probably would have gotten explained in between the large jumps that had taken place from this section of the demo to that section of the demo that they stayed ahead of. So some of the problems that they might have experienced probably stemmed from that. But it was praised for the performance capture, Troy Baker's performance in particular, and the rest of the voice acting that was there as well. The visuals were very, very highly praised. The linear elements people loved, where, you know, it sort of starts off where you're going through the Vatican, and people love that segment that was very heavily story driven. And what else were people praising? They said that the combat was very, very interesting in that you're sort of picking up anything you can find in the environment. So you'd be looking around, you're like, oh, here's like a broomstick, and you'd sneak up behind someone and just bop them in the back of the head with it. Like you find a frying pan, so there's tons of items
I love
that are littered around the environment, and it's primarily stealth. So you aren't going in, you have your revolver, but they were saying that the game almost incentivizes you not to use it. So you want to go around and sneak. The gameplay encourages that. Now, there's 2 sides that I've heard in regards to the stealth. One is that it's pretty fun because enemies get taken down fairly easy, but so do you, which I love that in games. I like when that's the way that difficulty is determined.
Yes.
So if you get shot, you're going to die. And if you go and start shooting your revolver, you're going to attract people that then, you know, on the normal difficulty, which I suspect they're going to shoot. On the normal difficulty, which I suspect most people played on, they did say you could sort of powerhouse your way. You go, you know, put on your big boy pants and muscle your way through it, so to speak. One content creator in particular, and I cannot remember if it was, I can't remember who exactly it was. Again, I watched quite literally about a dozen of them. But one content creator did say that they were playing on normal, and they normally don't do this, but they turned the difficulty up to, I think, the hardest. And it was a lot more fulfilling of an experience, because then those same tactics where, you know, the enemies are still easy to take down, but so are you, but now you're playing a lot more tactfully. So you can't just sort of run around, punch this guy. You gotta really be aware of, all right, this is the routes they're taking. I gotta sneak this way, distract them with the bottle over there. Things that you've done in other similar types of stealth, you know, action games.
Yeah.
But you're doing it here, and because you're so squishy, because you're very killable.
Yeah.
You gotta be careful about that. And so I really do like the sounds of that as well. People struggled with the open world. It was big, but not too big, but just big enough where it might be annoying. It's big enough where there's fast travel points to get around in. So take that how you will. They have a bit of a hitman element going on where you can put on disguises. So it'll make certain enemies not recognize you, but others will. Some people didn't like that because it doesn't tell you, and there might not have been a clear way to know, like, hey, that's a commander. He's going to be able to spot me because he's wearing this outfit.
Okay. Like
so
where Hitman
I don't know if
has
that
the
was just
little, it's very subtle. It has like a little dot above their head whenever they can spot
allegedly, what I heard was there was no indication that
I agree with
certain
that,
enemies
because that would be frustrating.
And
yeah.
That would be frustrating, and they need to be identifiable either by something that they're wearing or some sort of visual thing, or it needs a, you know, a UI cue.
Yeah.
So that was one of the big criticisms, but it's a cool element, and it's been compared to a lot of immersive sims. There's a lot more I could say about it, but it's been compared to immersive sims. Thief, they said it's definitely takes some inspiration from games like Dishonored. It's not Dishonored, but it takes some inspiration from that in a myriad of ways that you can approach the different situations in the game. It has some of those immersive sim elements, which a lot of people really liked. But ultimately, they warned that, you know, on Kind of Funny, they were saying that they expect this to be like a 7.5 to 8 out of 10, which it's surprising to me that somehow some people think that's a bad score for games. But based on the things I've been hearing, it sounds about right, because...
Yes,
no,
please.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Please, let
You
me
know what's surprising is to predict. I just don't. We played 2 missions. It's not the whole game. To just already write it off as 7.5 to 8 out of 10.
Oh, I don't agree with it
and
at all.
say you're not going to play the rest. I don't
Yeah.
really feel like that's fair to a game.
there's
Any
two
game. I don't
things
care
to
who
that.
made it, right?
Yeah, and I feel like there's 2 things to that. We literally just talked about this last night. The one aspect of it is it's free. Okay, so not only is it on Game Pass, but these people had a free opportunity. Say free. I'm just saying they were handed the opportunity for hands-on.
They were invited that other people would really care to go. But your review or your initial thoughts on it shouldn't be dependent on the fact that you were part of, you know, the initial list to be, because obviously that's leading into like the thought of people like, buying your goodwill towards a game, and that's not the case at all, right? Like, I don't think that's the intention. Yeah.
There's also just lack of. We always talk about vested interest and making sure that you know you shouldn't. There should always be like a level of vested. That's not fair to say. I would say you pay for Game Pass, you want to get your money's worth or whatever, but there is the vested interest, time spent versus like Carrick talked about. We talked about whenever someone comes in and listens to someone who put 50 hours into a game, beat the shit out of it, and then they watch a reviewer saying, I don't really recommend it, and then they go, what are you talking about? I love it. And they're like, how many hours do you have in it? They're like 7. It's like, okay, come back to me when you have as many hours as I have into it. Then you can give me a fair opinion. And 9 times out of 10, those people will say I had a great time with it, and it does start to wear on me, and you know, whatever. So you're right.
It's the exact same thing that we just went through with Outlaws, right? Like Outlaws is the exact same thing. just talked about, right? The beginning, if you only play the first hand of hours, you know, but then
That's
it
what I've
gets
heard.
better as it progresses, and
Yeah.
Anyway, and it's fair to give your like initial thoughts on what you played in the demo time, right? That's totally fair, right? And to kind of give the demo a score, but not just automatically project that right to how the game's gonna finish.
Yeah, and I think
in my
I
opinion.
think
fair,
ultimately this was coming from kind of funny, and I think ultimately they were cognizant of what I said earlier, that some of this might be attributable. They did bring this up, actually. I don't want to say they were cognizant. They did bring it up that some of this could have been because of the large gaps that the game took, and because of their limited playtime. So one of their other criticisms that they did have was, and this is something I saw across multiple people, were that the puzzles were too easy. So, and some of the puzzles weren't really puzzles. They were saying, you know, it was really about just sort of looking around the environment, which reminds me a bit of the Call of Duty Zombies Easter eggs. You just sort of look around the environment and push a button on things until something happens. They said that's how some of the puzzles play out. So it really doesn't scratch that itch to feel like you've accomplished something. But it's possible. Maybe not probable, depending on how you want to look at it. But it's possible that some of those things do change as the game goes on, and it sort of scales with you as a player and as you get more familiar with the systems in the game. So some of that can change over time, and they did acknowledge that.
Yeah, it's a shame that they just said that they're not gonna play it when it comes out. Based
Well, they
on the
said they're
demo.
not
Is
as
that-
excited. I don't want to quote them on that. I think that they
I mean, yeah.
probably just said they are not as excited for it, or they're not
Oh,
necessarily.
gotcha.
Yeah. I don't want to. I would
Well-
have to go back and watch it again. I don't want to put words in their mouth and say they were. I'm not going to play it because I don't think that's what
That's
they
fair.
said, but
Yeah, and it is like it's kind of like how we saw with Avowed, right? We saw this little initial teaser trailer, then we thought it was one thing, and then when more comes out, you start to see that it's maybe not what you thought it was going to be. And I would say for a really know what kind of game. I mean, we kind of knew, right, what Indiana Jones was going to be, because it's not like it's going to be a multiplayer Call of Duty. You know what I mean? Like, there's only so many things you can do with an Indiana Jones story. But if you're expecting Nathan Drake and, you know, all of this platforming and all of that, right, and it's more of a story driven game, then you might be disappointed in your initial impression, right?
Right.
yeah, and for what it's worth, one of the big takeaways from all of these previews is it really does feel like
Oh,
an
you
Indiana
did it!
Jones simulator. I don't know what it is.
I did it.
Sorry. Click it.
I did
Like a
it.
YouTube.
Hey!
There he is, our beautiful
Wow.
pumpkin boy assassin.
You know what?
is
I
here.
did. I have been told that Assassin looks a bit like a young Harrison Ford, and now the resemblance is uncanny. Great
Yes.
timing as we were talking about Indiana Jones.
See? See?
Respectfully to all three of you, fuck off.
It's piss off.
The one,
It's-
the
Yeah, go ahead.
Right,
the
my
other
mistake.
interesting-
Piss off.
There you go.
Assassin,
There
there's
you
a
go, now
spot
you
on
got
my
it.
shelf for you. You could sit right here.
Man, the term is elf on a shelf, and that is not an elf.
Okay. Welcome,
So,
assassin.
yeah,
We're talking
just
about
the
Indiana
other
Jones.
thing.
Go ahead, DeMarco. I'm sorry. I'll get to you in a second, assassin.
The other element that I know was talked about. Now I forgot what I was gonna say. God damn it, Assassin! You and your handsome pumpkin face distracted me.
Yeah.
The one other thing I could say that people really said is that it feels like an Indiana Jones simulator. So the way that the world is structured, you sort of, specifically the open world elements, some people weren't too fond of it. Because, like Paris mentioned this on Kinda Funny, it was interesting because there was a content creator, I think his name was Jacob Stevens. And Jacob had
Stevens'
mentioned
brother.
how he went off and he explored a a random area that you could go into, and from that he found a lighter, and the lighter helped him go into something else that allowed him to explore further. And that was, he felt, because it had sort of a tangible effect in the, like a big thing that he found that lighter, it was impactful for his playthrough, that it made exploration feel worthwhile. Paris had the exact opposite experience, where Paris was explaining he went to this location, I guess it was a story location, and he could not figure out what he was supposed to do. And he was sitting there and he's getting frustrated, and a developer came over and mentioned, oh, you need to find the lighter first before you can do this. And Paris said, I had no idea, and there was no indication whatsoever that I was supposed to find this lighter. Nothing indicated I needed something. There was no cue, visual, written, auditory, nothing that said that. So the game, what I think a lot of people might not like about it, assuming the build doesn't change, right? Because obviously they're on an older build. And Colt, I actually saw Colt's impressions of the game too, which I thought Colt had a lot of good things, and he had some good criticisms, I think, of the game as well. But the game really does not hold your hand, is what I've heard. And it's up to you, the player, to figure a lot of things out and to go off and explore. And some people might like that because it really does bleed into the, you are Indiana Jones and you're figuring these things out. And other people might not like it because they're left sort of scratching their head, not knowing what to do. But that's almost everything that I've heard.
Well,
Positive and negative about Indiana Jones. I'm ultimately more excited than I was before. I'm a massive machine game fan. I've said it multiple times, but I think they're one of the most underrated storytellers, because Wolfenstein and Wolfenstein 2 had phenomenal stories. So that obviously was kept behind wraps, and I think that's where a lot of people will be very pleasantly surprised and pleased with the game.
First of all,
And I
thank
have
you so
full
much for
confidence
you,
in
just off the tip of the old butthole. You just coming giving all that news that you gathered, because that got me more excited. A lot of stuff that I actually missed out on. Colt says, I hung out with Jacob Stevens in San Francisco. I guess so. They were at the same event.
He got invited. He was so Jacob is one of those channels. I thought it was pretty cool. Jacob has like 4.7 thousand or less than 5,000 subscribers, and Bethesda flew him out there. And I love that Bethesda would do that.
I was this close.
And he doesn't have like necessarily Indiana Jones content really on his channel. So I'm sure he's a really stand-up guy. I haven't seen his content before this, but I'm definitely interested in checking it out and you know, even speaking to him one day. I think that'd be cool. But I like that Bethesda does that.
Yeah, Colt did mention, he says, we didn't see one big set piece. So the stuff that we saw, like the hanging off the planes and that kind of stuff. And I honestly, the more I think about it, I feel like if the game is all the things that you mentioned before, all this praise that the game is getting without the big set pieces, I feel like maybe the set pieces would have been something that people would have focused on too much. They would have given the game too much praise just based off of the big spectacle. They're walking away with the last big takeaway was the last thing that they see, which was, you know, hanging off of a plane, or, you know, the stuff that Indiana Jones gets into. So I feel like it's actually kind of a good thing, like to keep that kind of stuff on the back burner to experience day one, and whenever you do play it, just to not distract you from everything.
And I think too for anybody that's watching the game semi closely, you know, you have that in the trailers. Like, you have where he's jumping off the plane in one of the trailers that was released, so you know those moments are going to happen. And then if you have any history with machine games, you know those set piece moments exist, because they, again, Wolfenstein 1, it's like the opening scene when you're flying in the plane and then you're jumping out of it across to the other one over the ocean. Like, it's an epic scene, and then you crash and you see the giant robots. Like, it's wonderful. Machine Games has that down pat, and so you know what you're getting into from those set piece moments. So I don't think they needed to show that. Instead, what I have heard from near unanimously is that all of the gameplay mechanics are very, very solid. And that's, I think, the best takeaway from a preview event with only an hour and a half, which is not that long. For people to walk away and be like, hey, I don't know if I necessarily got everything out of this game, but I can feel that the structure and the bones of this game are good. Because how many times has something come out and it's like, well, yeah, there's some stuff that's all right, but like the skeleton, that's what people say about Starfield. It really
I was about to say Starfield.
It doesn't have the skeleton, it doesn't have the structure, and that's what a lot of people don't like, much to Red getting upset and crying in the corner. So,
Yes.
but however, people walking away after an hour and a half feeling that way about Indiana Jones, I think is a great takeaway. A great takeaway.
Mm-hmm.
They also
And then the
said the
story,
same thing
I
about
think, is-
Redfall.
The story, I think, is going to be fine. Well, I say
sorry.
fine. I think it's going to personally be great, but...
Fark, you sent something to me in on Twitter, and I'm gonna try to find a way to get it up because it is the funniest thing. It actually has to do with our next topic. And Holly, are you excited about Indiana Jones? Did you grow up watching these movies, and do you have any interest, or is it just your love of Harrison?
Legitimately, the first time he's ever. Oh, I don't know where you came up with that with Harrison Ford, but that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Indiana Jones a lot. I wasn't like, I was interested in a game because I really like Nathan Drake. I love those games. And it's been a while since we had one, and I'm kind of sad that they, sort of retired, at least for the time being, right? They had sort of retired Nathan Drake, right? And we're trying to move on to the other characters that were with that Chloe, and I don't remember their names, but
AD?
those games
Is
are
that
just
one?
so good.
Nadine and
maybe
his brother.
Chloe. Wasn't it? Wasn't there a Chloe? I thought one of them.
Yeah,
said
it was Chloe, it was Nadine Ross, and it was his
But-
brother. I forgot his name.
Sam.
Troy. Yeah, Sam.
Sam.
Also voiced by Troy Baker, ironically. So he's voiced 2 treasure hunters in his career as a voice actor. Kind of funny when you think about it.
Yeah. So, I was kind of hoping for Indiana Jones to be like Nathan Drake, right? But with indie story. I wasn't like wildly excited for this game. I'm like, I'll play it. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
I'll play it. And maybe
Stop
it's
bringing
just
down the
because. Sorry.
I'm
But
saying-
maybe it's just.
Tell me how much you love Indiana Jones.
Let me talk, man.
No, not if
Oh,
it's
you
different
speak
from my
again,
opinion
Holly?
on Indiana Jones.
Classic internet. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, maybe it's just because we know Indiana Jones, right? And when it's from other things, so maybe it's not quite as exciting because it's a character that you're already comfortable with. There's a formula that comes with that, versus like a new IP or like Nathan Drake, where literally all you're gonna do is be able to see him in these games, and the game series is where he comes from. It's the first time you see it. It's its own niche thing, right? It's not building off of stuff that you already just kind of know. So anyway, I'll play it. Colt's video today actually like got me a little more excited for it than I had been. So because he said the magic word, which is Dishonored. So I was like, you son of a bitch, I'm in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Let me grab real quick. Thank you to Game Seeker, who probably enjoyed that burping right into the mic. Thank you so much. Game Seeker he is such a nice dude, and he's Canadian, so it just comes naturally. It's just like a Ford. It just comes with transmission problems, and Canadians, they just come with natural kindness. And no, seriously, thank you so much for the Canadian $10 super chat. Thank you so much. He says, from what I saw today, Indy looks great, a slower and more methodical approach, unlike their Wolfenstein games, which I'd love to. All good, exactly. And I think this is a testament, I think one of the biggest examples that I've seen in game development where you're so used to one developer doing one thing, you can't possibly imagine them doing another thing, which is a first-person shooter to an open-world third-person adventure game like Guerrilla Games did with Killzone.
That's mostly melee combat too.
Yeah, and so Guerrilla Games made Killzone, exclusively made a first-person shooter, linear, to an open world game where you play as a chick with a bow and you're fighting giant dinosaurs, and it's like the only thing that PlayStation can lean on right now. So Wolfenstein, a Machine Games doing first-person shooter, going to more adventure-y stuff with Indiana Jones with this sim aspect. And I'm telling you, you nailed it whenever you mentioned Hitman, because Hitman does that so well. Dishonored does it so well. There are a lot of elements that from what I'm hearing, that Indiana Jones, it's got me really excited. Today, I was actually way more excited than I was. It made me want to go watch the movies to get excited, but I'll wait until next month to watch the movies until we're closer to launch. But I'm really excited because this game takes place. This is essentially the second movie, basically, because this one it's Indiana Jones, the first
canonical
movie. Yeah, and it's canon, so it takes place in between 1 and 2, right?
2. Yep.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And that's actually, it speaks to some of what Holly's saying too, is because it's and other people who previewed the game brought this up, so this isn't my original idea, but because it is canonical in the Indiana Jones story, I think Paris actually was the one who said this, they are limited with some of the things they could do, right? Because they need it to fit in a certain box, in a certain mold that is the movie version, Harrison Ford's version of Indiana Jones. And that's restricting in some ways, but you could tell, even from, they said there's like some great, which Machine Games has always had just like good humor, because it wasn't Marvel style humor. It was just subtle, a little bit more subtle, not in all cases. I'm thinking of one particular scene from just, Wolfenstein 2, but it was usually a little bit more subtle. It was usually a little bit darker. And they seemed to nail that, which a lot of people said. Also, I know Colt had mentioned this in his preview, but several others did as well. The melee combat, the first-person melee combat, felt very punchy. It felt very weighty, like hearing like the impacts and the sound design.
Yeah, he said like he cringed, like, ooh, God,
melee combat.
Ooh, brother.
Cringe. Yeah, like nice, good crunch when you're punching. Some people thought it felt. Best. I don't know if claustrophobic is the right word, but maybe a bit rigid and stiff, because it just felt a little bit clunky to some people. But I imagine the way I can sort of picture it is just sort of doing melee combat in something like Grand Theft Auto 5, where you have the option between first and third person, and it feels a lot more stiff when you do like first person punching people on the street versus doing it in third person. Not bad, it's just different. It takes some getting used to. So I think that, and Cyberpunk is another great, like first person melee combat in Cyberpunk is a bit different. So I imagine it's something along those lines, but if the sound design is there, which I know Colt and many others praise, then
says felt the same way about Blade when that was announced. Never could see Arcane doing third person with a licensed IP, and here we are. Yes. Go ahead.
BT asked, "Is it still have Chronicles of Riddick?" I've never played, so I don't know. But what I will say is Ryan McCaffrey did the IGN preview, and Ryan McCaffrey, who's a big fan of Riddick, explicitly called out that yes, that identity is 100% still there. I don't remember if he said it's even more prevalent now that he's had an hour and a half playing the game, but he might have. Don't quote me on that. It is still there. So something to look forward to, Maverick.
Some of the footage that I saw on Colt's video, like whenever you're traversing, you're in third person, and I was like, dude, okay, this immediately alleviated a lot of this stuff, because in Chronicles of Riddick, you're seeing Riddick all the time. You go into like a health station, you're in third person, getting into the thing and getting injected into your face or whatever. You're climbing a pipe or whatever. You're in third person. Like, it does it so much that you sort of forget that the game is a first person game. And like Deus Ex does this really well too. Deus Ex, whenever you take cover, you're in third person. I could go on and on. A lot of games do it really, really well. So it got me more excited, because I always bitch about games, not enough third person games. I don't need it to be third person all the time. I just want more third person. Like with Cyberpunk, I didn't need Cyberpunk to be third person all the time. I said it before, I would have loved to just be able to walk into a bar and sit down in a chair, and then it goes into third person. Or like whenever you're in dialogue, it goes into third person, or just stuff like that. But if they have a specific design in mind, and it clashes with a third person or first person perspective, I don't want any of that kind of stuff to hinder.
Clothes look.
Yeah, exactly, like that kind of stuff. So this is really
I
exciting
just
to me.
want to see how that leather jacket looks
Exactly.
on Indiana. And I'm
Exactly.
gonna.
Yeah, Assassin, are you excited about Indy?
Yeah, I am
After
actually.
hearing all the stuff?
I did not listen to any of the hands-on previews because, to be honest, I'm kind of wary on hands-on previews after what's going on with a certain other
After what happened to
RPG.
you? Oh,
After a certain RPG right now that's going through a lot of controversy. The previews were all positive, and now the reviews are very divisive for that particular title. So I'm
We'll talk
wary
about
on
it.
indie. I'm very. It's just that word of caution that Red absolutely hates that I do, but I have every reason. And here's the thing that Holly kind of. She mentioned Uncharted, right? A lot of people are going to come in because we haven't had an Uncharted-like experience in years. 8 years to be exact. I'm worried that a lot of people are going to jump into Indiana Jones expecting Nathan Drake, and not realizing that Indiana Jones is a completely different person than Nathan. Yes, they both have some comedic tones with their adventurous aspects of their IPs, but Indy is completely different than Nathan. Actually, a lot of people may or may not know this, Nathan and Lara Croft were actually inspired by Indy. And a lot of people are hoping that this will inspire, or this will go backwards to Indy. Whereas Indy inspired Nathan and Lara, they're hoping that Nathan and Lara will influence Indy, or in his personality, which is not going to happen because Indy is definitely unique. Bit of a controversial take here. I think that Indiana Jones is a better IP in terms of Lucasfilm than Star Wars. It's much more unique. It is a lot funnier, which I prefer comedy over serious space empire priest bullshit. Like, not to mention, Indy only has like 2 bad films. You have to debate how many bad films and TV Star Wars has.
well,
I am convinced that all of Star Wars is actually garbage, and just the concept of Star Wars is much better than the actual execution of any of it.
yeah,
Except for the
that's
animated
true.
series. That's the exception. The animated
Yep.
series, Rebels is also really good, Bad Batch is really good, but
I am glad to hear that it does hold true to what Machine Games is known for, and that's their storytelling. And I know that Todd's been heavily involved. He's a big Indiana Jones fan. He's been wanting to do an indie
His
game for
favorite.
years. So, yeah, understandable. Like I said, I think indie is better than Star Wars, but that's just my opinion. I mean, there's really nothing else I can say that you guys already haven't touched on.
Well,
In terms of...
says for the $2 super chat, thank you, Donnie. He says Assassin isn't a hands-on guy. He's more of a feet-on kind of guy. Is that true? You like feet?
Oh?
What do you got against feet? You got them.
I don't have anything against it, and I like how Colt said, no, that isn't correct. Dragon Age Veilguard reviews are super high. Yeah, because they were very particular about which specific reviewers got the codes to review the game. There have been a few creators that have said, hey, I was invited to the preview event, I criticized BioWare and Dragon Age beforehand, or I've done so since, I've not gotten a review code. So BioWare's being pretty particular about who they give a review code for, and that has me concerned.
Yeah, even
bit.
ACG didn't get a code, which that's like not.
ACG,
And then you get people
everyone
like
in that
Skill
is
Up and
definitively-
Mr. Matty Plays. They think it's a disappointment. So then you have IGN and Eurogamer thinking it's a masterpiece. Like what? Someone is lying here. Either the YouTubers who are upset that they didn't get a code are making shit up, or the media is making shit up. There is no in between. One group is lying. And we're
Well,
gonna
not
find
lying,
out Thursday
I
who
don't
it
think
is.
anybody's lying. Yeah.
Not lying, they just have their opinions. We did talk about Dragon Age, so I don't
Well,
wanna
people come
drift
from a
too far
point of
back to
bias
something,
too. Everybody
Yeah.
No, for any
And
game,
Exactly
right?
what
This or
Juan
that
said,
or
toxic
whatever.
Positivity with Bethesda. He's got his flying glasses on. So any criticism of Starfield is just negative toxicity.
I can't tell if you said me
I
or
think
DeMarco,
that I
but
think
go
that
ahead.
probably both. I think that again, I don't want to go back to the Veilguard because we did discuss that
Yeah, we
already.
talked
But
about that. Yeah.
the only thing I'll say about it is that it does exemplify, because you have people who are definitely going to review bomb this game. Like, it's going to happen. We already know that. And if you think otherwise, then fool you are. I don't know why I said that like Yoda, but
Yeah, go ahead.
fool you be. So I will just say, I think the Veilguard is a prime example of something that you really should try to form your own opinion on.
I know, we
And
did that with Starfield. Remember
everything-
last year?
Yeah.
That game,
And
the game had an
everything-
85 Metacritic, but the game was very divisive amongst the player base.
Yeah,
I guarantee
and
the same thing's
everything
going to
with-
happen here with the Veilguard.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
But where you got to play it for yourself, because you're not going to know who's trolling, who's review bombing. Some people you could suss out just by what they say, but it will make it seem like a bigger problem than.
Yeah, I'm not
something
saying it's going to be bad. I'm not saying it's a bad game already before it's even out, before I even got my hands on it. I'm just saying I'm cautious. Like, I don't have as much of a history as the three of you do with BioWare, but in my opinion, that just means that they have to make a pretty big impression on me to even think about playing any of their future games. Speaking of which, I've been dabbling in Mass Effect on and off, and that game is very good despite the limitations that it suffers from.
Suffers.
We only told you that 100 times. But
Yes, I know, but I'm saying
It
it's still a
suffers
great
from
game.
limitation now. It suffers from limitation when
Oh,
Starfield.
he's on it. Here he goes.
All right, here we go. So on one hand, you have you don't want Starfield to have 1,000 planets. You want it to be more like Mass Effect. Then you play Mass Effect and it suffers from limitation. Fuck you. No, I'm kidding. That's just your opinion. Go ahead.
I was talking about the combat jank, genius.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't talking about the storytelling of the world, you
Sure.
fucking asshole.
Sure. Whatever. Listen. Whatever helps you
Whoa,
sleep
whoa,
at night.
Whoa.
Whatever.
Red's coming out here with sarcasm, and you're coming out with like fucking rocket launchers attacking him. Jeez.
Exactly. Oh, look, Bob Bill is here. Thank you so much, Bob Bill. He says, wait, maybe I should read this before I say hello. Safe space. Be a man, brother. Speak your opinion and quit saying I could be wrong after everything, dweeb. Damn. I haven't been called a dweeb since... Well, maybe that's the first time. Should I go cry? I need to find a bathroom stall in a public library or something to cry. But thank you so much for being here, Bob. I really appreciate you. I've never seen you here before. Appreciate you. Anyway, before we run out of time, hey, guess what? The main topic has not been spoken about. So we had a bet going. No, we didn't. That's not even funny. Concord Firewalk Studio is officially done. We kind of like went backwards with topics today. By the way, real quick, shout out to almost 40 people here in the chat. Thank you so much. Please, like Beyonce said, please stop cheating on me. And also, as a quote from Deadpool, but also please hit the like button, because there are 40 people in chat and 20 likes. Come on, guys. Thank you all so much for being here. Really do appreciate it. Christina says he needs a mad pumpkin face. That one is way too happy. Yeah, exactly. Or it's like psychotic. Like that's how he feels whenever he's on the show. We just drive him crazy. But yeah, we're never actually mad
That
at
pumpkin
each
looks a lot better than I do in real life, so...
other. There you go. You want a face reveal, chat? Here you go. Woo! Here, I'll just have
Oh.
the pumpkin just like this the whole time. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna-
I'll tell you what, Red. I'll come on
Yep.
camera.
Oh
Behind
yeah,
the scenes.
pause. Okay. Alright. So anyway, Firewalk Studios has officially been shut down. And we thought maybe they're gonna bring it back free to play, and turns out no. No, they're not. Now, of course, this does suck. I don't know if we have any news about where they're going to allocate the employees of the studio to maybe put them on support like they did with
The unemployment
Bungie.
line.
Yeah, put them.
Going.
Yeah, well, and I hope. I mean, we always hear about that. Like, unless it's like a mass amount of people all at once, we usually don't hear about it. So you're probably right, unfortunately. But yeah. So that happened. Concord Firewalk Studios is officially shut down. We don't have any news on it right now. I'll be honest, I'm actually very surprised. I'm actually very surprised. Because I think we all thought that it was going to be turned into a free-to-play game. That's what we were hoping for. That it was going to go multi-plat and all that stuff. And I just feel like Sony, so Sony also, not only did they shut down Firewalk Studios, they shut down a mobile Neon Koei, I think is what it was called. And they were working on a mobile game that was an action game. Canceled that completely. But all in the same breath, they are still saying that they are focused on mobile games and very excited about the about the live service aspect and whatever. I honestly feel like Sony right now is floundering, and I'm sure that that they have stuff that we haven't seen before, like Spider-Man, like Venom or whatever it is, Wolverine, obviously we know, Ghost of Yotei, that kind of stuff. But those things are so far out, and I feel like right now they're floundering, just to be frank. Sorry, I meant to remove it. By the way, the majority consensus of the poll for Indiana Jones, pretty much everyone kind of wants to play the game, whether it be yes or on Game Pass, by the way. So that's really good to hear.
I love that. I love that for your audience.
That's
they have
all.
good taste in games.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Except for the 4%. You guys, I hate you. No, I'm just kidding.
So the studio's gone, and I'm sure that things will develop as time goes on. So I hope, like I said, I hope to hear at the very least that some of these people, or the majority of people, get sort of sectioned off into different places. Maybe some people go to Bungie, to the support side, like I mentioned. I don't know. Holly, what do you think about Concord getting shot? Are you surprised? I can't remember if you were banking on them going free to play too, or if you were like, nah.
No, I was sure they were going to do it.
You were sure they were going to get shut down?
I was sure they were going to go free to play.
Oh, okay.
No, free to play.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even then, I wasn't sure that they would shut that studio down. I thought maybe they, at a minimum, would just chuck it in the garbage and move on. But here we are, because they spent a lot of money on that game. They acquired the studio for that game, and then to just let all of that talent go. I mean, it's a shame, right? Because people lost their jobs, and at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what the game is when people lose their jobs. Bad deal. Which we say all the time now, because this happens all the time.
Yeah, didn't we say that last week? And the week before? And the week before?
Probably twice in October, and yeah.
I think we also said that next week too.
And the week after that.
Let's schedule it in for 5:30.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right there. All right, 5:30 more late. Okay.
Yeah, a moment of silence for all the lost jobs in the industry. Yep. It is a bit surprising that they've closed the studio, but I would also say that we're now that Jim Ryan is gone, and we have Herman Hulst, and also who was a champion for this game. And also Hiroki Totoki, being the money guy. I think we're going to see a lot of things. We are seeing a lot of things start to happen pretty quickly. This being just one in a long line of changes internally to their strategy and their game plan and where they're going. I don't think they're going to drop the live service model. But I do think they're going to have a much higher balance between what they know they're good at and the live service model till they kind of find that sweet spot. And they already have Bungie and the talent from Bungie. I don't think they're going to move any of these people into Bungie because Bungie's got a lot of problems on its own and they're moving people out of Bungie. But they'll probably keep a few, I would assume, maybe, and move them around a bit. But in all reality, I think this is just reorganization within PlayStation to move back towards maybe a central position
Right.
in their
Go to
output.
Sucker Punch is right
Sorry?
down the street.
Assassin, do you wanna give your take since you haven't got to go first yet?
Well, again, it sucks that a lot of people are losing their jobs, but I remember this conversation that I had with you and Red. We had actually got into a mini debate about it, about how you guys thought they were going to free to play. I thought they were either going to shut the studio down or they were going to do something different. Like I said, they could go anywhere in Washington. That's where Firewalk is based. So, I mean, hey, Halo Studios is hiring, Sucker Punch is hiring. There's a lot of good studios in Washington that they could go, or they could work remote. Not really. I don't really have anything really to say about Concord other than, well, sucks to be that, or sucks to be them. I just hate the fact that the developers have to suffer for a decision that Sony should have seen coming straight away. So crap. It's a joke, but it's true. Microsoft is not good with single player for now. Sony's not good with the live service for now. Still true though. It's a joke on both sides of the aisle, but it's still true. It's funny. It's weird to me that someone looked at Concord and thought, "Huh, this is going to be the next Star Wars experience." Like, huh? Who said yes to this? Red, why did you say yes to this? This seems like your cup of tea.
Yeah. I like tea. My favorite tea is ginger tea because I have so many stomach issues. So I usually, what I do, it's actually specifically it's lemon ginger tea, and I like to mix it with Earl Grey. I'm one of those dudes that take two tea bags, dip them in one cup. You know what I'm saying? And just mix it all up, get all that goodness in.
Okay,
You know?
all right, you're mixing
So-
all the metaphors there.
Yeah. Exactly.
When it comes to being right though, yeah, I was right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I guess best case scenario, those people from Firewalk would maybe go off and do their own thing, and hopefully, the thing is, like, whenever we say hope they go off and do their own thing, like, I can tell you, it's not easy to just pick up and just do something. It takes money to do those kinds of things, and it's not always the case. I would hope that other companies pick them up. I think would be the best case scenario. I would love I would love to hear about those employees immediately getting to work, and talk about because we're gonna hear about this kind of stuff years from now. We're gonna hear about what happened with Redfall. We're gonna hear about what happened with Concord. We're gonna hear about what happened with that King Kong game. Probably not the King Kong game, but you know what I mean. We
We're
never
gonna
really
hear about
know
what happened to Starfield. We already know the story about
and
Cyberpunk.
how great it is. The
Gollum game.
The Gollum game. That's
Yeah, Gollum. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It was the Gollum game, and then that weird King Kong game that came out like right after, and it was like, we can make
And
a
why
worse
Dishonored
game.
3 was canceled.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. Arcane says it's a corporate America thing, unfortunately. Which, I mean, that you could say that about a lot of things. I just want to make sure I didn't miss any super chats. Okay.
You know, they also shut down their mobile studio that they acquired a couple years back, right? Neon Koei as well.
Yeah, I mentioned that. Yeah, they had an action game in the works, and that's done now. So, all in the same breath, as I said, that they talk about that we're excited about the future of live service and mobile. No, you're not. But again, we're just the people. You know, we're on the ground level. We don't see the numbers, and that's all that matters. Unfortunately, for both Xbox and PlayStation, it's just numbers. And unfortunately, even more unfortunately, is people are numbers too to them, which it sucks. It sucks. I've been on the receiving end of that. It sucks. Balls. Speaking of balls, Udani,
Hey,
thank you
you're
so
not
much.
just a number.
Oh, thank you. What about Holly? Is she?
You're a
blue
number and a letter, because we give everybody designations so we could track you better.
That's
in
right.
our analytics.
Red Wolf 1 coming up behind you. I don't know. All right, let's go ahead and move on. Thank you so much, Yadani, for $5 super chat. He says, weird how one guy got force retired and another got a promotion over this studio in their controversial moonshot project. No C-suite heads rolled. No C-suite heads rolled. I'm sorry, am I dumb?
Yet. I guarantee you that if this type of decision making keeps
Corporate
happening,
suit, I think.
Oh,
it's-
okay. Gotcha.
No, C-suite. C-suite. The executives.
A corporate suite?
that's-
CEO, CFO.
corporate suit, yeah.
Oh, C-suite.
CMO.
Okay, he's using... You guys are
C-suite.
smart. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, how about Satya Nadella? Man, that's a whole other thing.
Stop.
Yeah, Satya could hire the entirety of Firewalk probably.
He could hire
with the raise
me,
he just gave
you,
himself.
everyone on YouTube he could hire and pay an annual salary that could keep my water bill, my water turned on.
67%. He got a 67% raise if it's already like 30-something million or 20-something million salary.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. I feel like
67% raise. Because he's keeping up with inflation. That's what inflation was. And he's like, man, I just gotta keep up. So I'm just gonna, we shut down those studios. Oh, look how much money's left. And he just goes, I could use this now.
yeah. I'll just take that little leftover there. Little
Wait,
money
we're
laying on
not
the floor.
paying how much in insurance to all those families? Oh, that's really sad. Let me just cry into my $1 million bills.
Yeah. Do you need a tissue, sir? No, I have this right here. This stack of $1,000 bills.
It's like I think of that scene in Family Guy where Carter Schmidt just pulls out like multiple $100 bills. He's like, and Peter's like, I need the money. He's like, I'm not giving you. It's more funny to just like mess with it. And he sticks it in a blender and just goes, and
Drinks it. Yeah, exactly. That's so dumb.
He goes, all those studios. No, it's more funny to watch you suffer.
Oh, we love it. We love it. Umbra, you need to get Assassin on and do a chapter by chapter or act by act breakdown with Assassin and the other guy that you had on. I'm so sorry, I forgot his name.
About metaphor?
Yeah, about metaphor. Yeah, do that. That'd be great.
What?
Colt says
okay.
6-minute abs. Yeah, exactly. Oh man, I need like 8
YouTube
minutes of
ads.
abs. What's up, King Style? Thank you for being here. Appreciate everyone being here as always. Man, this show has flown by. Don't leave. I didn't say it was over. I just said it's flown by. And again, thank you all so much for just hanging out with us and just hearing our opinions on the Dragon Age controversy stuff. We were trying to, DeMarco and I were trying to be very gentle and respectful about the whole situation because it's not about being angry. It's about just understanding each other. And I think we did a good job about that. So I appreciate you guys hanging around, especially Lotus. I was like, oh my God, Lotus is going to send out assassins after me if I say the wrong thing. But I appreciate you so much.
Why would you guys hold the gloves on Dragon Age? Like what?
Well, we didn't. You weren't here in the beginning. We talked about everything actually. Yeah.
Well, you make it sound like that you were handling a glass vase while talking about it for some reason.
Yeah, well, it's difficult to talk about that kind of stuff, and I feel like it really.
It's difficult to talk about whether a game is good or bad. How much has Starfield changed you, bro?
That's not what we were talking about at all. It's not what you're not. That's not what we talked about. Anyway,
I know. Explain it to
Yadani,
me.
thank you so much. Gifted a membership to King Styles of all people. King Styles, you weren't a member? How dare you? No, thank you so much. Now, welcome to the Renegade Runners. You are
Every time someone like does a super chat or gives a membership, I want to see that pumpkin get a little bit bigger of a smile.
I can just do this every time. Just make
Why
it a
would
little
you
bit.
say that?
I just wanted to. Just,
He's busting out of his cage now.
hate
I'm
you all.
about to bust.
I'm about to bust. I'm fitting the bus.
Every time there's a super chat. I
Bobby
remember
Exposed. Sorry, I just saw you, Donnie, put
Yeah.
the exposed. Exposed. Yeah, I love that. I love that. Anyway, what else was there? Call of Duty is huge. It sold. Well, we talked about Call of Duty, but just to talk about it real quick, that game has made. I was talking on the phone with Colt before the show started, and he said that game made more in 5 minutes than Concord took to make. I'm like, well, that's where those employees will be going to then. Call of Duty Black Ops 6 has made. Does somebody have the numbers? I feel like in my head I want to say like $55 million in the first day or something like that.
Made
Like
$1 billion in the first weekend.
billion. Well, okay,
a
a billion
billion,
is a
yeah.
lot more than 55 million. I will give you credit on that. So I was a little bit wrong. I was a little bit off. So compared to the other Call of Duties, I'm wondering how much it made because this one, even some like I love Call of Duty. I play every single one of them every single year. But I have never been quite as excited as I was for this one. And maybe that is a testament to the casuals out there like me. Like I'm a casual. I don't play multiplayer by myself. I just play with my friends and stuff like that. But I was ready. I was ready to drop that money for the Vault Edition. Yep.
I think it had the perfect combination of, I will say, out of anybody here, I think I'm probably the most casual when it comes to Call of Duty. Like I was saying earlier, I have not played since Advanced Warfare. That was the last one I put some serious time into. And when they were talking about Black Ops 6, it had the perfect combination of setting, of being from Treyarch, which I think is just a massive boon because Treyarch has proved that they have the best storytelling and the best zombies, which is something that appeals to me. So it really hit all of the marks for someone who's been or felt taken away or taken out of what I loved about Call of Duty in the past. It's injected a lot of that back into it, except for the operators. I flippin' hate the operators. I think they're stupid and terrible, and I want them to go away forever. I never want to see that stupid zombie guy running around or that stupid robot running around. And I hate, goddamn, do I hate the match end screens? It is the look. Get closer here. Zoom in. It is the worst thing when you're sitting in one of those endgame screens, and all you see are 3 of those flippin' robot dudes just sitting there going, bing, bing, bing. Like the stupid flippin' sound effects that they play is just the most obnoxious crap in the world. And I hope that it's not going to happen, but I want it to go away. I want it to be extinguished. I hope, for the love of God, that when Battlefield comes out, because they said they're going back to a more return to form for Battlefield, because Battlefield did the stupid flipping things too. Gone.
Yep.
God, just take your operators and push them back into Fortnite or some other crap.
Yeah.
I hate
Hey,
them.
that's a good point, Holly. They're kind of Fortnite-y. Well, they're very. I think they're so out of the. They're not just a bunch
How
of
dare
bro dudes.
you put Fortnite and Call of Duty in the same sentence together?
Okay, let's
Block.
not pretend that
I'm
Call of Duty tried
blocking
to
you
emulate Fortnite
forever.
with a lot of
That's
things.
it. I'm
Do
blocking
not
you
for
in
a
my activists.
second.
I'm reporting you for cheating.
That's it.
Get back over here.
I'm sorry.
That Call of Duty has not tried, not that they have not tried, not literally taken from Fortnite. Unapologetically.
What are we talking about here?
Yeah, I agree.
Are we talking about Fortnite being an influence on COD?
Yeah, I think Fortnite's influencing everything, isn't it?
Marking Zero apparently is a really good Dragon Ball Z game.
But at least it doesn't have the stupid purple filter. If it gets a purple filter, I'm out.
I hope.
Man, did you not buy the purple Tracer pack?
Oh my god.
I hate the purple filter so much.
Yeah.
The purple.
Purple is one of my
filter.
favorite
I love
colors.
purple.
I
I hate purple now.
Oh, there you go, chat. Look,
Purple.
this is
I have-
me without my sunglasses on my head. Look how
I got
weird this
colors.
is.
To say that Fortnite didn't have is not having an influence on Call of Duty in general is just dumb.
I got.
They're doing
Renegade.
crossovers. They're charging extra
Here we
amounts
go
of money.
again.
for
How
those
many
bundles.
times are we gonna say Holly's dumb?
I mean, in this case,
Alright.
Sally called me dumb off camera in the last week.
Yep.
Just for the
Oh
record,
yeah,
so
when we were playing Space
everybody
Marine
knows.
2, yeah. Speaking of which, we're never gonna
Look at
finish
that
that
laugh.
game.
Look at that laugh. Look at this is.
We were
the
playing zombies.
BS.
If it happened when you were playing Space Marine 2, then it also happened when you're playing zombies. So that's 3 times
Yes,
this week.
twice.
Yep.
Assassin.
You called
Yeah.
her dumb
There you
again?
go. That's your.
No, you did.
Ooh.
If you're saying that you called her dumb,
You said
You-
the Holly's dumb. Yeah, you said the Holly's
Holly's dumb. If
I
you
said it
said
when we were
that
playing
you
Space
called her
Marine. You
dumb
said it
during
when we were
Space
playing
Marine,
zombies.
if you did it during Space Marine, that's one time. You did it during zombies. I was there.
Tell
for
me
the
if
zombies,
this
and I
doesn't
know
sound
I heard it.
familiar,
That's
DeMarco.
2.
Have
Hey,
witnessed
where'd you
it.
go?
No, I was there for it.
Where
I
did
know
you
I
guys
heard it
find
this
that
weekend.
vending machine? What are you, stupid?
I
It's
heard-
right over there. I pinged it for you. Do you not remember
No,
that?
You did it, and now you just did it again. That's 3 times in 1 week.
I just repeated what you said to her when we were playing zombies, you fucklord.
Nope,
You
that- I never said
fucklord.
it. Never happened.
That's what they called me back in the.
News.
No, I'm just kidding. Here comes fucklord.
That came out of nowhere, but
Oh no,
Do any
you
of you like?
fucklord.
Do any of you like? Do any of you like Dragon Ball Z?
I do. And Game Seeker is
Never
a huge
watched
fan. If Game Seeker is still
Have
here,
you-
he's a big fan.
Have you looked into Sparking Zero at all? I've wanted to try it.
It looks way too hard for me. Game Seeker
No, that's
messaged
the
me and
thing.
asked if I was gonna get it, and
It's-
after playing Kakarot, it's
really-
everything that I've ever wanted. Go ahead.
The attacks are like one button apparently. Like it's just like you hit this button to attack and like you hit this button to dodge, and it's really more of sort of a chess match
Yeah.
where
yeah.
you just are kind of strategic. So it's not as complicated as it's not like playing a Soul Calibur or
Well-
even a Tekken or a Mortal Kombat.
This is coming from someone you love hard things. Pause. You love when there's a challenge, and I've heard that it's difficult because all I was with the Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, it is very similar. It's like one button for attack, and I actually had to switch it. I think because I like having the X button be attack and B to be dodge, left bumper to be vanish and block and stuff like that. BT Maverick, thank you so much, bro. Thank you so much. I'll
Wow,
read
wow,
it.
wiggle wobble, what's it, waddle, woo.
There we go.
Let's talk about buttered
Still
sausage.
here. I'm still on the board.
I forgot no one's
Got
used-
your ass.
I added some new ones, yeah. And no one's used any of those for a long time. So as soon as we start talking about something, say, all right, guys, let's move on to the next subject. And let's
Wow,
talk
wow,
about
wiggle wobble, what's it, waddle, woo. Got your ass.
Got your ass. I did. I added that one.
Let's
in
talk
here.
about buttered sausage.
There you go.
please no.
We need to look at it.
Got your ass. I love that one. That is so good. Isn't that what Colt and Mag reference on the show when he goes, got your ass? I'm pretty sure that's the thing. It's The Wire, I think. I could be wrong. But oh wait, I'm not allowed to say that. Bill Burr or Bill whatever his name was. I'm not allowed to say that because I'm a dweeb.
Comedian.
Higgins.
Yeah, I'm not have an opinion. I'm sorry, I don't know where the hell I was going with it. BT Maverick, thank you so much, man. $20 super chat. Thank you, dude. He says, I got Red Wolves. Bill, do you guys keep track of how many games you've beat, y'all? How many games you've beaten each year? How many so far? I've been journaling down each game / DLC. I've title screened, and it's been very satisfying. I'm at 39, aiming for 50 by January. It's so funny that you say
Impressive.
that.
Or is that like
Does
like
this
the
guy
most
track his
difficult-
games? Are you kidding?
I
That is the
literally.
most difficult to read background and text. The white
That's why
text
I was-
on that orange.
I know. I was having a
Yellow
hard
brick.
time reading it. I was like, whoa.
YouTube,
Oh.
I'm gonna sue you for ADA compliance. There's no way that's ADA compliant.
Give him his $20
No way.
back.
I
Yeah.
don't think that's how it works.
No, BT Maverick. Funny.
I don't know what you guys are going on about. I can read it.
Funny you
It's
should
just a
ask.
color combination.
I do have an entire spreadsheet that I could actually bring up and show you.
He's only beaten one game this year.
No, I haven't. Not only.
It's hard
do
to
I-
manage spreadsheet, okay?
Oh, thank you, BT Maverick.
That
Your
is the
water
game.
bill. I got Red Wolf's water bill. You did. You literally did pay for 80% of that, or 20 or 25% of it. Yes, thank you so much. Sincerely, thank you. Thank you all so much for the super chats and the support tonight. It's very thank you. It is very thank you. I have a list of everything on a spreadsheet, alphabetized, and I have one bracket that has the names. The next one is the date
All three
that
of
I beat it. So that blank space stays empty until the day that I beat it. And then I put in, 10, 29, 24. And then the next bracket is how many hours it took me to beat. The bracket beside that is what how long to beat says. And then I have a number.
You gotta make the pumpkin bigger twice.
Oh, you're right. I do. Yeah, there we go.
Thanks to you, Donnie.
There we go. He's busting out. He's busting out. You're right. Yeah, I did have to make it. You're right. I'm about to buh. I'm about to buh. Ha, ha, ha. There we go. If that's good for you guys, the more financial support comes into the channel, the bigger the pumpkin will be, to the point where you just won't see us anymore. Thank you so much, Yadani. He says bigger assassins rump king, please. Yes, there you go. But yeah, I wish I could actually bring up the spreadsheet to show you guys, because I'm such a nerd. But yes, it is so satisfying, BT Maverick, because at first I was like, this is my games that I need to beat, but now it's more like I just want to keep track. Like I just want to keep track of the games. Bro, you did not have to do that, but now since you did it, there we go. All right. There we go. And I actually have to add, there's a little surprise here, because look at this. There's a tip.
Uh-oh.
Oh, look at this. Look at that.
Where did his...
There we go. Is that okay? That work?
Lotus, thank you.
Wait, what happened? Oh my god, you guys. Jesus Christ. Well,
And then Barry just donated $2 super chat.
here we go.
I'm sorry, it's not a $2. It's a two. It's
There
a
we
two
go.
Monopoly money super chat.
Oh, my
Oh, hey,
god.
Web Dave got one too.
Bigger.
Oh, good, he has a head again.
Oh my god.
Well, there we go. Yeah, the bigger, and look, the bigger the pumpkin gets, the bigger you can see the watermarks.
You're
Or
right,
whoever
I'm
made
drunk.
this, I don't know. Thank you so much, Assassin, bro. You didn't have to do
I'm
that,
happy I'm
man.
in
You're
this
here,
corner.
and Lotus is
Paid a
free.
good
Thank you
amount,
so much.
So I figured. You better start making videos soon.
Oh, I am. Yeah, I finally got some work done with video stuff.
No,
so
I
I'm
love
back on the
Kofi.
grind. Yes, I'm gonna do a Dragon Age review and talk about buttered sausage. I got your ass. Oh my god, I love that. Yeah, I forgot to even mention that the.
Let's talk about buttered sausage.
There we go. Yeah, wait, we can. If you want. I like how Holly's leaning. I have to be. Hang on. I have to be. Wait, I gotta get in position.
Go stand up.
Can you see me? You see me?
DeMarco and Assassin are
There
right
we go.
in the right spot.
Look at that. That's bullshit. Look at that.
What the hell?
Oh my god. The Wire.
How
It
much-
is The Wire.
Make it
Umbra.
smaller.
You can unsuper chat. Yeah, I don't know. Listen, we gave the people more. Sean T, Dry Rub, Web Dave got one. Oh, that's what you meant. Yeah, Bionic Wolf, AEC Vic.
Yeah, how did Umbra not get one?
I don't know. It's always so weird. Like when it's like the next person down, you would think that YouTube would just. I don't know. I think it's random. I just think it's randomly.
It is random.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Did you read
guys.
what Colt said?
Holly triggered.
No.
Yeah, we use that a lot.
What?
Oh, if you hold the yeah. You can crop down his image so it doesn't cover up your faces and still keep it.
Wow, wow,
as
wiggle
large-
wobble, what's it, wadu.
Thank you. Oh, Holly. Okay. All right. There we go.
What are we doing here?
There we go. It is bigger now.
Every time someone donates, every time someone super chats or gives subs, the pumpkin gets bigger.
Yeah, that's just how it is. And I'm here, guys. See me waving. I'm still here. Right here.
Oh, I can't wait till Christmas when it's a fucking Santa hat instead.
Don't
Oh
spoil
my
it.
god, I love Christmas.
Yeah, don't
I
spoil it.
hate it.
You wait till next month, Thanksgiving. You're gonna have a turkey.
I hate
what I was about to
Christmas
say.
He's in
so
a
much.
cornucopia.
Yeah, have a cornucopia around your neck.
Put his
and-
face in the end of a cornucopia.
Oh, like just like
With it,
around.
like-
Yeah, that'd be great.
And it
No.
comes out the side.
You guys hate me
Uh,
that much, don't you?
No,
Yes.
Assassin and Assassin. Thank you for the.
Oh, I
super
mean, no,
chat.
sorry.
And-
That
When you
came out
call
wrong.
me dumb, there are consequences.
That's DeMarco Dunce, not me.
I'm sure people
was
joining
you.
into the
It
show
was
right now,
you.
they're
It
like,
was
"What
you
the
3
hell is
times."
happening right now?" In this chat, like, what the hell is
People
this
on
show?
Spotify don't know what's going on because we're not there yet.
We're not there
Ed?
yet. I know. I need to do that. There's a lot of things I need to do. Colt wants me to trim it down, but that's just not the point. That's just not the point. I do know how.
You
but-
can't trim down the chaos.
Yeah, you can.
I mean, that
you
pumpkin
can.
doesn't have a soul.
That because that was. Oh my god.
Oh my god, Colt.
It's the
It's the
whole
whole
thing.
thing. It's the whole thing.
God damn it,
Oh
Colt.
my
No.
God. You guys are crazy. Thank you so much, Colt. All right, well, I'm gonna bring it in real slow too. I feel
Damn,
like the
Colt,
only
why?
survivor of this is gonna be.
It's gonna be DeMarco.
Oh look, you can see me a little bit.
Assassin.
There we go. Holly's gone now. You can't see her
That
anymore.
just- Now you just made the pumpkin look like a creep.
Oh, I know. He's just like peeking.
It's really good right there. That's perfect.
I know. He's like,
He's just looking and it's like, ooh, I see a pie. Am I gonna be the pie?
the pie. Oh, the pumpkin pie. I see what you mean.
If
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
pumpkin, if the pumpkin covers the whole screen, I'll make an Indiana Jones video.
No way. Okay, you guys had to understand how big that is because DeMarco hasn't made a video in months and months
Over
and months.
6 months.
Over 6 months, and he's saying if the pumpkin covers the screen, he'll make a video. And once the pumpkin covers the screen, I think that's it. That's all we have. Well, so all it took was just a pumpkin for you to get back onto YouTube.
No, I wanted to make a video on Indiana Jones.
You
I was
son
very
of-
thrilled with. I was really thrilled with the previews, so I wanted to dive into it.
There you go. There you go. Well, look, I don't want to bait people. I sincerely appreciate all the support. It is so nice of you guys. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Holly and Lotus double teaming it. Oh my god. Thank you guys. And with that, here it comes. Wait. It's about to come. Hang on.
Hey, welcome to the Halloween stream.
Oh yeah.
There it
You
is.
just cut the eyes out, and you and DeMarco would fit in each eye.
Yeah, I know. If we
Never great.
just look at the YouTube camera. Just the whole
Oh, look at that! And then we can both be in the mouth corner.
Oh my god, I've got to try to get a PNG of this because I tried, and that's
Just
why
send
this
it,
is.
send it. Red, send it. Send me the image. I'll do
Okay.
it right now.
Well, I can't because if I bring up my
Oh, yeah.
my screen, it'll my social security number. I have my social security number as my background of my computer.
Oh my god. I was gonna say Lotus and Holly doing it. I was gonna say, I don't know, it doesn't seem like enough, but now Jax82,
Oh my
$2 super
God.
chat. This has been infected by a virus pumpkin. Barry Donnellan, 5 Monopoly money super chat. With no comment. And then Assassin, $5. Make the Indiana Jones video, DeMarco dude, but have Arcane, Red, and Holly star in a
Dunce.
skit. That's hard to do.
He said
I would love
DeMarco
to do
Dunce.
that, but that's
He breathed it.
that's really hard to do. He said DeMarco dude. It was auto miscorrect.
Oh, yeah.
That
there you
makes
go.
sense.
Yeah, auto miscorrect.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, common feature in a lot of miscorrect. But I only do that for reviews. So
Figure it
I
out.
haven't reviewed the game. So Assassin, you write to Bethesda and tell them, even though I haven't made videos in 6 to 8 months to get me a review code, and then I'll
Yep.
Oh my
and then I'll
god.
get that started.
I gotta try to make it bigger.
DeMarco would look good in an indie hat. Yo, Donnie, super $5 super chat.
He has
Yeah.
an indie hat, if I recall.
I thought he did
Oh
too.
wait,
Yeah.
hold on, okay, cool.
I thought he
I
did.
don't have one. I have something maybe.
Even
close
if
to
he
one.
did and he put it on, you can't see it because you got two
Pull out
fucking
the
eyes
whips
staring
you
at
keep
you.
in your closet.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, that's my chain. Oops, sorry, that's my whip. Oops, sorry, that's my chastity belt. Oops, sorry, that's my yeah, DeMarco. He's guys, I am overwhelmed. I'm over the moon, over the whip
Nobody's
right
gonna
now.
be able to see it because now we're covered by a pumpkin. But there, this is the closest I got to it.
There you
So-
go.
I love
There you
it
go,
with the
chat.
headphones.
See that? You gotta look
It's
quick,
really
chat.
good.
I love. Oh, there we go. Yeah, this is Star Trek mixed with. Look at that. That's legit. That's a good looking hat.
See that,
I always
chat?
wondered. Is that? There you go. Oh, look at that.
Jesus
It
Christ.
pushes it up into the old.
Look
Yo.
at it.
There you go. Look at that. All right, I'm sorry. I gotta. Boom. Guys, absolutely cannot thank you guys enough. That is crazy. I've never seen the chat do that before. That is crazy. Shout out to I just want to make sure I got everyone. Lotus Esprit, as always. Game Seeker, Yadani Kazada, BT Maverick, Assassin, Barry Donnellan, Holly, Colt Eastwood, Jax82.
Yep.
Yes, I think I got everyone with all of the.
I'm ready for my.
Let me read. I just want to make
I love
sure.
how
I got
me
the
and
other ones to
Holly
read.
super chatted in our own hard-earned cash, and DeMarco just
DeMarco is about to be an executive.
Anyway.
at an executive. Yes, DeMarco would look good in a Indy. Oh, sorry. That's what you read earlier. Yes, fantastic, guys. I can't sit here any longer. Because, Red Dead Panda says sorry, I'm late, but I got here in the end to say hi to the panel and chat. I feel like she just. I can't.
I'm
believe she
surprised
didn't
her first
comment.
question was, "What's up with the pumpkin?"
Yeah, I know. No one. Yeah, no one. She didn't say anything about the pumpkin. She's like, "Hey guys, hope you have a good show." I'm like, maybe she just knows this is normal. Like she chats into the Renegade
yes.
podcast, and she's like,
I can't
par for the course."
remember the last time she jumped in and there was a fucking pumpkin over on top of us.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
Halloween. It makes sense.
It's
Don't question
Halloween. There we go. There we go.
What, are we gonna
Yeah.
have a giant turkey over us for Thanksgiving?
We're gonna. I'm just gonna put it back. Boom.
No
here.
surprises with the pumpkin.
So yeah, she's like, yeah, it's pretty much par for the course. This is
What does
what
it
the
say
show
about
is.
us in our own podcast? If people come in and like, oh well, shit, this is nothing new.
I mean, that's the
That
whole
we
point.
are never boring. That's what it
Yes.
means.
100% exactly. We're not we're not, you jump into a podcast and you expect just to go down the list of the topics and whatnot.
Panda, I'm dressed up as a box of nerds at work.
Are you
What?
really? That's fantastic. I want to see that now.
I
Yeah.
do too, actually. Do you actually have... So, are you in a box and there's, like, nerds all around in the box with you? Do you just, like,
You got a
reach
bunch
into
of
the box
people-
and grab a handful and hand it out?
You got a bunch of people
Oh my
wearing glasses.
Is that better?
Oh.
There we go.
Can we let this whole camera shit go? Not you too,
No.
Panda.
I agree.
It's never gonna go.
I agree, Panda.
Yeah, it's never gonna.
Look,
BT
I will come on
Maverick.
camera behind the scenes when Special Nick gets up, which will never happen.
BT Maverick just tweeted out, "This is my screen right now."
Nick will come on the show one day.
No, he will not.
Yes, he will.
No, he will not, because I said so.
Especially after he gets scared enough of Red after he asks him for the 878th time.
Okay, is
And
he
gets tired of
actually
saying,
asking...
"Arr."
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
Okay, is he
Oh,
actually
Game
asking
Seeker.
Nick, or is that just a joke?
Oh my god. Game Seeker just said, "This is
Okay.
for the tea fund for Red Wolf." Exactly. I need my lemon ginger. Thank you so much, man. A $10 super chat. Thank you so much, guys. Stop super chatting. I'm overwhelmed, and I'm at that point where I'm so humbled that I can't really thank anymore because I've thanked so much, and I wish I could do more. Wish I could just hug all you all at once. while
Oh,
wearing a
don't you
mask.
have some Mountain Dew to go get?
Cole's been doing pretty good. He's been doing here. Let me just lower this so you can see a little bit at least.
No,
At
I'm
least
saying that in response to his comment.
in response to his comment. Oh, I don't know. Here, let me just. Is that okay, chat? I know I said you want big pumpkins, but oh, we need a fund to get Assassin's camera on. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, thank you,
How
Lotus.
about
Air
no?
hug. Yes, exactly. Air hug. You guys.
BT Maverick, we have asked Nick, and he would
Yeah.
actually genuinely come on, but it's during work hours for him. His
Yeah.
time zones are weird.
Yeah, and I'm always being a
really-
smart ass in their chat, and so he probably thinks I'm a weirdo. But I'm being weird on purpose whenever you guys see me in the Xbox era chat because I like to pick on Nick because he's just fun. He's just fun to pick on.
I mean, he knows that you're the host of the podcast.
Yeah, but he just probably thinks I'm just a psychopath, which is kind of true, but not really. But yeah. We would love to get guests are hard to get on, man. I know I talked about getting a couple guests on a few weeks ago, and it just people have lives.
pan out?
Yeah, this unfortunately YouTube isn't full time for a lot of people, and it just so their dedication to it is really limited because they have real life priorities, and it's just how it goes. But
I mean, it would be great if we could make this full time, but I doubt that would be beneficial for anyone.
thanks a lot.
What?
I doubt anyone would give a shit. No, I'm kidding. No,
I mean,
yeah, I know what you meant. Just the way it sounded is funny.
no,
but,
I know. I'm just saying, if we would like to make this full time, we need to be in a far higher place than we are now.
Yeah. It'll take years if that ever happens. Sorry, I'm
It
gonna
would
put the
take
pumpkin
years.
back. I'm just gonna keep pushing the pumpkin.
Can we stop at the pumpkin,
BT
please?
Maverick BT Maverick he posted a picture on Twitter of his screen, and it's just the giant pumpkin. With
That's what I said. Yeah. I reposted it. Yeah.
It's funny.
Okay.
My screen right now. That's so funny.
And Marco's
Okay.
starting to fade. We need to wrap it up.
You can see it in his face. He's getting that dead-eyed look in his. All right, listen, we did it. We celebrated Halloween successfully with thanks to Assassin being the guinea pig there with his face taking over his face, making his face. And every season you can look forward to Assassin wearing a new hat, a new face, and a new stretch goal. Literally a stretch goal. Get it? Because it stretches to the fit the
I
screen.
like that
Yep.
Maverick screenshot. It's S4 Barry. In the super chats.
Ass for Barry.
What did I do to y'all?
Oh my god.
What did I
just have
do to
look
y'all?
at it.
Oh, Panda, that's amazing. It's like, how did you get one that big? Did you print it? Sorry, she sent me a picture
Oh,
of her
in
giant
a-
nerd.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Sorry.
fantastic. No, it's good. It's good.
It's the easiest way to talk to her. It's like...
So in the chat, I have the pumpkin pick, which I'll replace. It's tagged. Its name is Seasonal Ass Pick, is what I've named it. That way I know.
Hey.
There
you go.
What it is and what it does, why it does what it does. Buttered sausage. So yeah, and speaking of which, thank you all so much. Thank you all so much for all the support tonight. I did not expect literally everyone in the world to throw all those super chats in. That was so nice. That was so incredibly generous of everyone. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, seriously. Ah, man. And with that, I will ask Pumpkin Man. Pumpkin. No, I don't know. I don't know what pun to use. What pun? I don't know.
What's wrong with you?
I'm falling apart. Assassin, where can people find you? Are you inside the pumpkin? Is the pumpkin inside of you, or what's going on?
You can find me on
Put
Twitter.
down your pumpkin spice latte.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. You can find the QR code in the bottom of the description. But pump my ass, sin. Kin. All right. I'm sorry.
There we go.
Yep.
Full circle.
Oh, thank you. You're right. I am an emotional baby. Baby. I was crying playing Call of Duty because it was so awesome. I was like, seriously, I don't know what it is. I get emotional at things that are awesome. Like when Captain America caught the hammer, I was crying. I was sad about that. Oh my God, I was a mess. Anyway, thank you, Yadani. Thank you. All right, Assassin, what you gonna be getting into? You gonna be streaming any horror games?
Yeah, I'm gonna stream it. I'm gonna bounce between streaming that and COD and Siege. I found an editor, by the way, Chad, to make videos. By the way, so hopefully I'll have one on Friday. So, YouTube link is in the description down below. I'm gonna try and get them out by 5:30 every Friday. So, yeah. Twitch link is also in the chat too, Assassin52. Thank you. I have nothing else to say.
Okay. I love how Holly has just been in slow motion, just cheesing the entire time. I don't know if Holly, if you can look at the YouTube stream, that's just been you for the past, like, I don't know. Like
Yeah, my
4
internet
full
is yeah, I'm in.
You're just so happy. Look at you. You're just loving life. Oh, that's so good. Holly, where can people find you? And what you gonna be getting into? We already know the
I
answer.
can't even look at the screen anymore. Yeah, you know what I'm doing.
Oh,
Moving
there
on.
There we go. Oh, we're catching up. Oh, she's like, oh. Yeah.
This is so awkward.
Because you're just like,
I think Jonas is right. It's like a scene from
There
a
we go.
Christmas Hallmark movie.
oh, it is, isn't it? Yeah, that's
Great.
us. Yeah, she's smiling in slow motion. Yeah, and it is like from the 80s. Whenever they tried to slow it down, everything's like, yeah, it's great. Yeah, so Call of Duty all day, every day. That blue number everywhere.
That is my boyfriend right now. Yes, for that Christmas movie.
Adler, I'd date him. Ah, man, he's something. He's something.
Yeah, Brad Pitt. Yeah.
Brad Pitt. Yeah, God, what a great character. He might be my favorite Call of Duty character. I don't know. DeMarco, who's your favorite character? DeMarco, Call of Duty character, DeMarco.
For Trinko.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, World at War. Yeah. And when can people expect your Indiana Jones video?
That's a good question. Well, I have most of my
It's
ideas
funded.
formulated, so it's just a matter of script. It's funded. It is funded. Yeah. Yeah, just a matter of scripting that out. I don't own editing software anymore, so that's gonna be a problem because Adobe's flipping absurd. And I think it's time to learn DaVinci Resolve.
Yeah,
So,
DaVinci Resolve
that'll
I've
be
heard is
something.
great. Oh, there goes Holly smiling
That'll be
again.
something. So
There
happy.
she goes. She's
So
so happy.
like this the whole time. That way
But
it
yeah,
can't
so
move.
check out the channel, DeMarco Dude on Instagram. On Instagram. Technically, I do have an Instagram. I haven't posted there in a billion years. But DeMarco Dude on Instagram, DeMarco Dude on YouTube and Twitter. You can follow me there for my takes. I'm trying to be a little bit more active on Twitter than I have, just giving my takes on certain things. As I sort of hype myself up back into making some content, which I know I've been saying for the past like 2 months, but I think actually Indiana Jones might be the game that gets me into that. And I said I'd make a video on Indiana Jones. Didn't say when, so I got that going for me. But I'm excited to work on one.
I am excited for you to work on it too. And DaVinci Resolve, I've heard, is much more user-friendly than Premiere. And Premiere pisses me off all the time. It's great. So I'm really excited for the future. You guys can follow me at Red Wolf Renegade on Twitter. It's in the description below. Just follow me there. Just do that if you haven't. If you don't, make a Twitter account. Follow me there. Share this podcast out. Do all that kind of stuff. You don't have to. You don't have to. It's fine. Yeah. And if you want to become a channel member, I'm trying to build a community within Discord. That way we're all connected more. I'm just trying to play around with that. So if you do become a channel member, you'll have that. You'll have that. Anyway, that's enough. That's enough. We've had enough. Holly just is smiling like she's at Woodstock right now. Look at her. Look at her. Oh my God. It's so funny. She's just like, oh, brother. All right, guys. We will see you guys next week. Good. You popped in. You were like, goodbye, everyone. Okay.
Thank you guys for not saying for